Just moments ago, Donald Trump went on the record. Donald, you've issued a statement that there should be a complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. Is that your view?
Absolutely. We have problems going on. Nobody wants to talk about the problems. I watched the president last night in one of the most ridiculous speeches I've ever seen, and he doesn't want to address the real problem. He won't even mention the name of what's going on. So when you have a president like that, you're never going to solve problems. So the answer is yes. You see the numbers. You've seen what I put out, where 25% of those polled agree that violence against Americans is justified, and 61%, 51% want to be governed according to Sharia law. We can't have that. This is the people living here, Greta. We can't have it.
Donald, what about the members of our U.S. military who are Muslims who are serving overseas tonight? What do you say to them? They want to come home.
They'll come home, and we have to be vigilant, and we have to take care of the Muslims that are living here, but we have to be vigilant. We had 2 of them living here, and they had guns, and everybody, they had tremendous, they had bombs, they had ammunition. Everybody knew that something bad was going to happen. And for the sake of political correctness or anything you want to call it, they refused. People that knew what was going on refused to report these people, and many people died. So we can't allow this to happen.
Well, what I don't understand, though, there are a lot, maybe you didn't hear my question right, is that there are Americans serving in our military who are Muslims who are overseas on bases. Do you apply this rule to them?
No, they would come home. They would be able, anybody here stays, but we have to be very vigilant. There's a lot of bad things going on. When you look at these polling numbers that came out, there is tremendous hatred, there's tremendous animosity. And these are taken of people living in our country, from Muslims living in our country, which is amazing. Because I have Muslim friends, Greta, and they're wonderful people. But there's a tremendous section and cross-section of Muslims living in our country who have tremendous animosity. We can't let this happen. We have
Does it apply to your friends? Does this apply to your Muslim friends, this complete shutdown?
This does not apply to people living in the country, except that we have to be vigilant. Because when you have people putting bombs, having pipe bombs all over their apartment, and other people see this and they don't report them, there's something wrong, very seriously wrong. We have an obligation to protect our citizens. We're not doing it with a president like President Obama. He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know what he's doing. The man doesn't have a clue.
Your statement goes on to say the complete shutdown of Muslims until our country's representatives can figure out what's going on. What would that be, until our country's representatives can figure out what's going on?
We have to figure out what's going on. It's very simple. The hatred, the level of death, the level of violence, we have to be able to figure out what's going on. People don't understand what's happening, but we have to be able to figure it out. Now, our political leaders are very weak and very ineffective. And frankly, some of the people running, they will probably, like most of them do, they'll probably come along with me in the end. Some of them are already pretty close to being there, I guess. But you have to ask them.
Well, some of your competitors, like Governor Bush, says it's unhinged. Governor Christie says it's ridiculous. Governor Kasich says it's outrageous. I mean, your competitors for the GOP nomination, and I'll get to, by the way...
Well, if you add up all of the poll numbers of all of them, they're practically zero. I mean, Bush has crashed. He's a, person that, frankly, I called him a low-key individual, and I call him low energy. Chris Christie should be worried about the George Washington Bridge, because nobody would have done that. When he talks about experience, how could an experienced politician have allowed the George Washington Bridge in the middle of rush hour to be closed? I mean, he should be focused on that. He should be focused on the hug he gave President Obama, which might have given Obama the victory. And he should be worried about the 11 downgrades of the state of New Jersey, rendering it, frankly, one of the most unsuccessful states. I think they're ranked number 50 in the union. So, Christie should worry about that. And Kasich is a guy who, I'm killing him in Ohio. He's one of the worst debaters I've ever seen. So, it's like Kasich has nothing in the polls. If you look at some of the others, they tend to agree with me, but they'll probably all come along. Look, it's the safety of our country that we're talking about.
All right, let me switch to the Iowa poll. Before I go, we do switch to the Iowa poll, this new one by CNN. I just want to say that the Christie hug I don't think ever occurred, but that's another whole long story. Let me go to the Iowa poll.
It certainly did occur. It certainly did occur. Certainly there was a great fondness that shouldn't have been. Probably shouldn't have met with the president right before the election, but it was fawning. It was fawning. The helicopter ride, the whole thing. It was fawning, and it didn't help Romney win the election. That I can tell you.
All right, let me go to CNN has a brand new poll. You are up 8 points to 33%, leading number 2, which is Senator Ted Cruz, by 13 points. He's down 20%. What do you attribute your numbers up 8%?
Because I think people want protection. I think they want strength. I think, Greta, people feel very, very left out in this country. They feel our political leaders don't have a clue, whether it's on trade or on security or in the military or taking care of our great vets. They feel, or Obamacare, which is a total disaster and which is absolutely cratering all. I mean, premiums are going up 25, 35, 45%. And I'm not surprised to see how well I'm doing in Iowa. And frankly, we have other polls where it's the same thing, including all the national polls.
Don, I do know there's a packed room of people waiting for you. You are where, in South Carolina?
I'm in South Carolina, the Charleston area, beautiful, we're packed room, and I am talking to you as I'm supposed to be going onto the stage.
I know. I won't hold you up anymore. Donald, thank you very much, and we'll continue to watch these poll numbers, up 8 points in a month on the CNN poll. Thank you, and this is Iowa. Thank you, Donald.
Thank you very much, Greta.